Hi, I'm delighted to be joined by Arijit from Aible today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you for having us.
Delighted to be able to catch up today. The buzzword of the year is agentic. And I would love to get your input on how people are approaching agentic AI and just some of the challenges, but also maybe upsides of that type of AI and technology for our customers.
Yeah, the biggest problem is agentic has become a buzzword. And so everybody just slaps agentic on everything, right? And then you'll see a lot of magic demos, right? So like, this crazy thing happened. And there was actually 3 months of manual work that went into doing that, or it only works if the data looks like this and you cough sideways. It's stuff like that. So what we focused on was how do we enable business users, somebody with no expertise in AI, who doesn't know what prompt augmentation means and what a LLM is, how can they just start interacting with Aible and build agents of their own on their own data, train it on their terminology, their way of doing things. And that's what we have been focused on. So our tagline is, I am Aible, because anyone should be able to make their own AI.
I love the approach to democratizing AI and bringing it to the people who actually need to use it, and bringing it where they can consume it and start to make it real for them, not just for the very cool data scientists and people who understand that. Do you want to share a little bit more about your platform and the approach that you've taken and maybe kind of some of the things that it can do?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way Aible works is you go in and you start asking questions. And the system says, oh, this thing actually needs analysis of a structured data set in Snowflake. Do you want me to do that? The human says, yeah. Boom, it goes off, asks millions of questions of the data, figures out which charts matter, gets it down to 10, 15 things and tells you. Maybe you ask something else that causes it to create a vector database of unstructured data and do that, or image processing. And then the user can provide feedback on the reasoning steps. So the AI says, I did this, and this is why. So the human
I think the why is so important.
The why is crucial in both directions, right?
Yep.
For the AI to have the humility to explain to the user, this is what I did and why, but for the user to be able to provide useful feedback. So if you think of the old way of giving feedback, we used to call it training an AI like a pet. Good job, good boy,
right.
bad boy. It's very low resolution, right? You can have gotten that question wrong 10 different ways. In Aible, when you're giving feedback, you are saying things like, hey, you got the definition of gross margin wrong. Or, hey, when I mean territory, I actually mean the sales territory, right? And the user can just answer it in their own way. They don't need to know anything fancy. And the system immediately updates itself. Not 3 months later with the help of a data scientist, immediately updates itself, gives the user the better answer, confirms that the user was satisfied, then learns from it over time. And we have a lot of checks and balances to make sure it's not learning from the wrong things either.
Right. I think the ability to bring that feedback loop into natural language is so critical to expand the use of AI into people who actually need to use it but don't need to become it. What would you say when you look at the Aible platform that are kind of like the 1 to 3 superpowers, or really distinguishing things that are so special about it that are, or the experiences your customers have had that are making it where people are engaging so much with you all?
So the number one is that no expertise. So this idea of low code, no code has become a nonsensical thing, right? Just because you throw a drag and drop interface on top of it, if you require expertise, most people don't have it.
Yeah, you still need to know where to drag and to drop.
And what you're dragging and dropping,
right.
And what does that thing mean, right? So what we focused on is, we just did this with a customer where we took a bunch of interns, but we took the CIO and the CDO of the organization, gave them about
Probably
15...
to their surprise.
To their surprise, we had not told them they were going to go through this. And in about 30 minutes, they had made multiple agents each. And that is the crucial part. We take audience members from every conference we go to and have them build agents live in front of everyone else on data that we have never seen and things that we could have never conceived of. And what I have found is that people always surprise us. Like, they'll come up with use cases, they'll do things that we thought was crazy. We had a customer find $12 million of value in a use case I would have never thought of. In fact, if they had asked me, I would have told them, that's a really dumb use case, don't do it, right? What do we know?
Right.
The people who know what will create value from AI are the end users whose lives will be affected by that AI.
Yep.
So, one of the things I love about in the Salesforce story, my last company was bought by Salesforce, so I hung out there for a little bit. Many of us used to tell the story of why Salesforce succeeded was that he could take hairdressers and turn them into Salesforce admins. And that's why people were rooting for Salesforce's success, because they could do more because of Salesforce. As we go into this Agentic AI world, every single person in the organization has to feel, I am going to become somebody much more powerful, much more capable. I will have that superpower by adopting AI. Then you will suck them in. Now, I'm not saying that a high school kid is going to make the most sophisticated AI system in the planet.
I'm not saying they won't either.
They might. But what happens is, as they build these building blocks, they build these small agents, then you can have agentic frameworks work across them and have autonomous agents go in and say, hey, this guy figured out how to deal with a new order coming in. This person put in something about how to find an alternative product if there was a stock out. Now the new agent comes in and says, boom, assemble this, assemble that, stitch it together, oh, I have an order to cash. But if you start from, I'm going to build the most efficient order to cash project, you're in 6 months of la la land, and by that time the tech has changed 3 times over.
Right. I think what I love is the being able to move at the speed of AI, but then empowering the people who actually are going to use the AI to move with it.
Yes.
And that is such a beautiful way to help us democratize the engagement and being able to consume AI. So now you're an Unleash AI partner, excited for that, and love to get your input on joining Unleash AI and working with HPE.
Well, so the fun part of HPE's PC AI has been, whenever we would go to a CIO and say, hey, unleash all of your users on building all these agents, they're like, what will they do with my data? What will happen to my data? What will happen to my operating cost? Because, if I'm throwing all that into one of the large language models, the bill can be in the millions. So the way PCI is set up, you get that governance out of the box. You're getting a cost manageability out of the box because you know what instance size you have bought. Aible works inside it. Once it's really getting close to being used up, you add another one. But there are no surprises. And the Unleashed AI program, we would have never found out about PCAI and all the resources inside HP because it's such a huge organization, it's hard to navigate. So for me, you guys have been kind of this amazing guides showing us how to create value for HP's customers together with all of the different parts of HP. Thank you for that.
It's been an absolute pleasure and excited for how working together in that, kind of better together approach, we can build real value with Agentic AI for our customers.
This is the moment to empower all of our users, and HP is amazingly well placed to transform this world through PCAI. Thank you.
Well, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.